Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is your boy, The Problem Child, here today to talk to you about wrestling. Again, but I'm gonna tell you this from the bottom of my heart. Why do we still watch this crap? You know, I'm trying to figure it out, man. Cause I can honestly say I think I lost my passion for it. Period. I really think I lost the passion for to watch wrestling or be entertained by it. I really do think so. Um, I'm wow. Thought that'd never come out of my mouth, but in all actuality, it has, and I don't tell you the truth. I can really care less. I feel like watching wrestling now is just an obligation. That's all it is. It's just pure obligation to watch it, and that's it. I feel like it's just a duty. Like you have to because it comes on Monday night. You're so used to it, you have to watch it. And I'm gonna get started with Raw because I'm gonna rip Raw and WWE and TNA, and I will try not to get too irate or mad because I just don't see no point in doing it because WWE doesn't care. TNA doesn't give a fuck, but let's start with WWE. Now, WWE is basically, after watching the Slammy Award, WCW Light. They're the diet WCW. You know, Vince McMahon criticized Ted Turner for trying to put him out of business and blah blah blah. But yet you turn around and do the same things and do the same undermining work that you said that you blamed him for. And this is not a slander. This is just facts because of what's been in the papers and what other people have said about Vince. Um, so you got that going on, and then all that other stuff. Add all this, the booking, the way you criticize fans, the way the way you criticize fans, and then tell us that we don't know nothing about wrestling and that we're just bunch of blah blah blah. We criticize and all this, and you don't really need us, and we can go about our business. You know, Vince. Thank you. I'm actually gonna start taking your advice. And to any wrestling fan, honestly, I'm not telling you to stop watching wrestling, but take a good long look into what are you watching now. I mean, can you really say you're really entertained by it? To me, I'd rather watch The Amazing Race because I'm getting the same thing. Long talking storylines, a little bit of action, and that's it. Or watching Survivor, or crap Big Brother, or anything anything that's a reality show. That's all wrestling is now. It's a glorified reality show with with muscle bound people and lingerie models, and dancers. By the way, dancers, Layla, and girls that sleep their way to the top, i.e. Michelle McCool. Um, i.e. Layla, because she's supposedly dating Cody Rhodes, i.e. Triple H banging Stephanie McMahon, i.e. I don't know, you fill in the blanks, I guess. If you could look at my face, you could tell this isn't no work or any joke or just no. This is really me talking to you as as a fan. What the hell is going on in wrestling that makes you still stay glued to it? I feel like I'm a drug addict looking at it, man. I feel like I'm saying I'm gonna stop smoking cigarettes tomorrow, and then I turn around and buy 5 packs of cigarettes, because you order the pay-per-views, which is extremely overpriced for crappy things. Also with WWE, remember the John Cena storyline was probably the worst thing I've ever seen in the history of my life in wrestling. And honestly, I have to say, Vince and Dusty and Michael P.S. Hayes, what the hell are you thinking? Just what the hell are you thinking? I can find 10 guys on the street right now that are so-called writers, and they can probably write a better wrestling thing than y'all can and fit everybody in. We don't have to see John Cena on there every week. We don't have to see the same 5 guys on there every week. But I'm not here to give tips to you guys because apparently you know what you're doing. So since you know what you're doing, I'm just gonna not say anything about what you need to improve on because I've done that. I told them what to do with the Nexus guys if they was gonna break them up. And speaking of Nexus, I guess there's no black people allowed in that one because Michael Tarver got kicked out, Darren Young got kicked the fuck out, and, so I don't know. David Otunga's the only one left, and he's kind of getting the Booker T treatment like in NWO with Shawn Michaels. But anyway, I'm not here to talk about that either because to me, that doesn't even, it's like, why, it's like, what's the point of fussing about that when WWE doesn't give a fuck about us? And, I'm so sick and tired of people talking about, well, indie wrestling is fine, indie wrestling, blah, blah. Fuck indie wrestling, man. You know what I'm saying? I mean, indie wrestling is nothing but a bunch of bums that's probably be very lucky to make it to the top, but that basically is just a bunch of backyard wrestlers that wrestles in fucking high school gyms and be lucky if they can score big. I don't care about indie wrestling. Fuck indie wrestling. They're nothing but a bunch of construction workers that do it on the weekend. They don't have no passion for wrestling, really, most of them. Most of them are there just to get, well, it's a hobby to do, like going golfing or going fishing. Instead, they just like wrestling, so they decided to do it. And backyard wrestling also is probably the worst abomination of wrestling. It's the reason why wrestling get a bad rep. Because you got a bunch of so-called wannabe high school guys who, a bunch of high school guys who wants to jump off their mom's roofs and put the mattress in the backyard and just do that. And buy a bunch of WWE wrestling belts so that way they can be champions. Even though they're using WWE belts, but they're the Intercontinental Champion or the BYCW champion. You know what I'm saying? I just don't understand that. But anyway, I mean, what's going on in wrestling right now that I should be so amazed by? I watched the Slammy Awards and I thought it was the worst thing. And if you actually wasted your time voting on WWE.com for a winner, what the fuck was you thinking about? Don't you know wrestling is a work? Wrestling is like the X Factor. Wrestling is like American Idol. It's a work. They already know who they want to win, so they get voters. They get you to vote, even though they already have in mind who they want to win or who they want to be in the bottom. Just saying. That's for my UK folks. Because I know I get a lot of UK viewers on here, and I know that they know the X Factor was a work. And Simon Cowell played everybody for a fool on that show. I mean, come on, you got Danny Minogue judging people on singing. Danny fucking Minogue? Who the fuck is that with that fucking stink puss ass bitch to tell me I can't fucking sing when she ain't nothing but living in her fucking younger sister coochie in the first fucking place. But anyway, that, just like I said, that's beside the point. But anyway, WWE is, it's a shithole. They don't care about fans. They even said it themselves. Vince blamed us for the pay-per-view buys. WrestleMania isn't even sold out. When I can remember as a young person, WrestleMania was sold out in 2 months. Now WrestleMania is still wide fucking open. Nobody wants to go to WrestleMania. It's in Atlanta, which, as far as I can remember, used to be a wrestling town in the South. And they're not even buying this. So what that tells you, what's going on? That tells you that either they got loyalty to WCW, which I highly doubt because, you know, WCW did get crappy at the end, or they're not interested in the WWE product, which I can actually buy and accept that. But just like I said again, that's my opinion. I'm just being honest with you guys. Sorry about that. I just don't see myself. I lost my passion, and this is from a person that's been watching ever since he was a little kid. Because my dad introduced me to it. My grandparents introduced me to into wrestling. We all loved wrestling, and I just watching it now. It just feels like an obligation. It just feels like, okay, you know. And this is from a fan point of view, not from no critic or anything like that. This is from a fan point of view. I just don't like it anymore. I can honestly say I have no passion to even watch Raw. I don't have no passion to even do a review on TLC. What's the fucking point? You got a reality show star winning the competition. Okay, yeah, he paid his dues. What did he do? Hoorah? Get jobbed? That's paying dues? Congratulations. Congratulations, Miz. You paid your dues and you became a champion. You know, whatever. You know what I'm saying? What the fuck ever. You want Vince aches so much to win an Emmy, but the thing is, they're never gonna give you an Emmy, man. Why can't you accept that, you old senile guy? He will never, 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 as long as you live on this God's green earth, they will never give you an award. You will never, ever, 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 ever win an Emmy, ever win an Oscar, ever win a Golden Globe. Never. You would never win those, Vince, ever, ever in your life. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. No. And your writers, they need to be dragged in the middle of the street with all their material and forced into cars and move on with their lives. Or else go try to start their own wrestling companies because the booking is terrible. The John Cena storyline is terrible. The Nexus storyline, I've lost faith in those guys. I don't give a fuck anymore. I don't give a fuck about Nexus. I don't give a fuck about Kofi Kingston no more. I don't care anymore. Because it doesn't matter. Nobody cares. You know, some Raw vs. SmackDown 11 game, you take, you know, THQ's taking forever to bring out Nexus, so they got people waiting to buy more games. But here's the thing. People are selling the games. I seen it in the store at EB Games. I seen one that was used for like $15. So what the fuck that tells you? Nobody cares about it no more. They don't care. Okay, we get to play with 3 of the 22 Nexus guys. Who gives a shit, you know? And I have to say, I don't fucking blame them. Not by a mile. I really can honestly say I don't blame them. By all means. I wouldn't, you know what I'm saying? I'm thinking about actually trading in my Raw vs. SmackDown for something exciting. You know, like Call of Duty, Black Ops. I might actually do that, come to think about it. Because it actually might be worth playing, you know? Sorry, but that's just me. Part 2 is coming up, and it'll be right up after this I just need a break. Sorry.